What's going on here? Okay,
There we
that
go.
was weird. Yeah, that was weird.
All right, so whatever happened there. If this is your first time in here, welcome on in. We appreciate you guys tuning on in. If you are on the YouTube side, if you guys haven't already, like, comment, subscribe. Really helps out the algorithm. If you are on the Apple and Spotify side, um, leave us a review, whatever you feel like we are worthy. We would appreciate that. Also, make sure you guys go over and follow us on all the socials, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, especially if you're on the Twitter side. Check out our pin tweet. Join the Discord if you're not already in the Discord, especially with trade season and trade deadline stuff all around. There's going to be a lot of prospect discussion because that's probably where we're going to get a lot back. So if you're looking for a place to kind of get some more information on prospects, the Discord is the best place to be for that. Make sure you guys also go over to the AZ Stinkbit website, azstinkbit.com. Check out all the other great articles over there. They do have a Josh Naylor trade, which we'll be getting into and diving into here in a second there. But tons of other great articles, deep dives, everything you can imagine. A lot of great writers over on the pit. So make sure you guys go over there and show them some support. But kind of already spoiled it for you guys. But before we were gonna sit down last night, kind of chew over a series sweep that was absolutely disappointing. Basically, doing a funeral for the D-backs, and even 4 hours ago, I was ready, prepared. I was like, cool, the notes are all ready to go. And then, of course, Jeff Passan had to drop a Passan bomb, and trade deadline season got started off, and the D-backs were the one that kicked it off. We were the powder keg that started everything, and surprisingly, it wasn't Gino, which, I mean, I guess not surprisingly to some people. He's going to be probably the big name that's going to take a few days because he is one of the marquee names to target in free agency. But the D-backs did make a trade. This was with the Seattle Mariners, it seems like us or the Mariners and the A's are the two teams over our history we just love to make trades with. And they do ship out first baseman Josh Naylor, who was 292, 360, 447 on the year with an 807 OPS and a 120 OPS plus. Both of them are second best in his career. I think just behind last year, the year before. 11 home runs and 59 RBI in the season. So he has been traded to the Mariners, who are in need of a little bit more offense. And the D-backs do receive left-handed pitching reliever Brandon Garcia, who is Seattle Mariners' number 11 overall prospect. He is 25 years old. He has a fastball that touches 97 coming out of a weird kind of like funky lefty arm slot. He has a 351 ERA across 31 or 33 and a third MLB or minor league innings pitched. Again, he's kind of more of a power arm in the bullpen, and he will be assigned to the Reno squad for now. Obviously, I wouldn't be surprised if we see him before the season is over. And then now, per MLB Pipeline, he is our number 16 overall prospect. And then we also got two names in this. So it was Brandon Garcia, and then the second name, both of these are pitchers, was a right-handed pitcher, Ashton Izzy. He was the Mariners' number 19 overall prospect. He is just 21 years old. He was in their high A affiliate. He has a 5.51 ERA and 47 in the third inning, so not the best numbers when you're looking at everything on the stats, but some of his peripherals and whatnot, when you kind of do a deeper dive, look a little bit better, especially his last start. He did go 6 shutout. He has an upper 90s fastball with a plus slider and a solid changeup, and he was assigned to the Diamondbacks high A in Hillsboro, and he is now the Diamondbacks number 11 overall prospect per MLB Pipeline. Um, the question I have for you guys, and especially there's some reports that this is just one of the 5 to 6 other names the D-backs are going to be trading. Obviously, Suarez, you got Kelly, Gallen, Grichuk, Miller, and Beeks. Those are the 5 to 6 names listed by Jake Oliver. So this is just one of many, many trades that we will be most likely seeing here in the next few days. And there was a fun tweet from our man Gabe on our Twitter account that I wanted to bring up here because this is always something to keep in mind, saying that the dozen or so players that Hazen sold Greinke, Goldie, Starling Marte, and Eduardo Escobar for contributed to a total of 6.2 WAR. And for reference, Ketel Marte himself last year had a 6.8 WAR. So definitely don't get the best return on investment when you're the D-backs, and especially I know a lot of fans online, mostly like baseball Twitter, but again, baseball Twitter can be way too chronically online. A lot of people are saying on the streets that the D-backs did get fleeced. No major league or no trade in Major League Baseball, you'll really know if a team got fleeced or not, at least for another few years. But me personally, I think this is a pretty solid return for a guy that is going to be a free agent after 2-3 months. So getting a really power bullpen arm, which we need a lot of bullpen arms, and then getting a right-handed pitcher that is a little bit more of a work in progress, but does have some decent, you know, I guess value and a decent trajectory to being at least a middle of the rotation arm. My question to you, gentlemen, and everybody else in the chat, again, appreciate you guys tuning on in here, is one, what are your initial reactions to the trade? Like, were you too surprised? Were you surprised at the team it was for? And two, do you think that, again, for being a 2-month rental, do you think this is a pretty decent return? All things considered, obviously, with our pitching coach, who knows, Tommy John could just be right around the corner. But what are your thoughts in general on the trade and what we got in return for Josh Naylor?
It ain't a D-backs trade deadline without Jerry Dipoto being involved in some way or form. And obviously, he made a call. He got Josh Naylor, but honestly, I'm just straight up disgusted. Like, this is terrible. I mean, the Garcia is good, seemingly good. I mean, he has a high 90s fastball, but overall, just the fact that this team gave up. Mike Hazen gave up. Torey Lovello gave up on. I mean, we can talk about it later on Tuesday, but I'm done. I'm done with both Hazen and Lovello. They have no rush to win. Like, they made the moves to win this year, and Torey just absolutely punting games over and over and over again, especially early on in the season. And I know Brandon was saying it's still early and it doesn't matter. Like, as time goes on, and this is why I complain about it, because you punt so many games early on in the season, and you do crap like let Herrera hit with 5 men on in 2 back-to-back innings, basically. Like, it's bull crap. And having Pavin hit third for 90 games of this season is just terrible. This team should be a lot better than this, and I would have been fine with a little bit of a soft buy. I felt like this team is still good enough to do a soft buy, but just getting news that 6-7 guys are available. I'm like, who's going to be on this team? Just Corbin, Marte, and Perdomo. Like, that's it. Like, those are like the 3 guys, and then it's going to be like 6-7 creative players. Like, it's all guys. It's like John Adams from Washington or whatever bullcrap that you see on MLB The Show. A lot of people. I mean, I'm seeing some comments already saying like, "Oh, injuries happen." You know who else is injured? The Houston Astros. The Houston Astros have 17 guys on the IL, and it's not like it's minor league. It's just guys from the major league roster who are on the IL, and they swept this team. So I know I'm going on a rant a little bit, but I wasn't expecting this to be this early. A part of me felt, at least see where they are after this Pirates series. See if they're at 500, maybe do a soft buy. But at this point, it's so clear to me that Mike Hazen gave up, and like I said, Torey gave up, and this is going to be a painful end to the season. They're probably going to be well under 500, and it's just incredibly disappointing and sucks because I did like Naylor a lot, and for what we got is 2 minor leaguers, and there's no guarantee. Minor leaguers are lottery tickets. Like I don't know if you mentioned the tweet. Yeah, we're going to mention it a little bit, but Mike Hazen doesn't have a good track record when it comes to selling guys off, and Naylor has become a fan favorite. I love Naylor. I love watching him play. Like, especially he had big shoes to fill after Christian Walker, and Christian Walker also had big shoes after Paul Goldschmidt. I felt both of them did a really good job filling in those spots. And now this is basically confirmed. Gino's going to be gone soon. If they're willing to ship off Naylor, then Gino's going to be gone, and everyone else is going to be gone too. And like, do they have enough guys to fill his major league roster? We already see Tristan English coming up. I'm like, Tristan English, a 25-year-old AAA player for Josh Naylor. Great job, Hazen.
Yes, I definitely understand the frustration. Obviously, like, again, I even said it last time. All 3 of us in here, we expected this team to be a 90-plus win team back into the playoffs. Obviously, that is barring all the the injuries that kind of like happened to a lot of us, or a lot of the team. Again, even like you said with the Astros, injuries isn't always an excuse. Yes, there were a lot of factors that kind of go into the season in itself, of maybe managerial decisions, players themselves not performing, players maybe not being in the best position, whether it's lineup wise or best hitting situation to perform. Which, again, Jose Herrera, we will definitely be talking a little bit about Jose Herrera and those decisions there in Game 2 later. I know. Gabe is saving the rant session because I believe I am as well. But I will at least say that, like, again, I minor leaguers can be a lottery ticket, but I'm a little bit more, I guess, looking at the numbers with Brandon Garcia and everything, knowing how much we need a bullpen arm, seeing how much control, because again, I believe he has just got called to the majors this year, so should still have the full rookie contract of control with him. It gives me a little bit more hope that, all right, you know what, with Puck being out, obviously with the injury, Brandon Garcia could, again, with maybe a little more seasoning, a little more time, slot into a more higher leverage role. Just seeing kind of the stuff in the numbers, like I said, 97-mile-an-hour fastball, kind of a wipeout sweeper that can get both righties and lefties out. Gives me a little bit where I'm like, you know what, this seems pretty solid, but It's again, it is very disappointing because again, we expected this to be a 90-win team. I do agree. I love Naylor as well. Only played like less than 100 games here, but he had a real impact. Maybe not as many home runs as we expected, but he was like a doubles machine. Just seemed like a good guy in the clubhouse, and I am gonna miss him playing, especially knowing that we really didn't give up much for him. But that's also he'll come back down to earth a little bit. But even kind of like Stu is saying in the comments here, restocking the farm. At least it is getting a little bit more of a restock in the farm, especially seeing some of our other pitchers like Gilbert Diaz kind of struggle. Yumin Lin really struggling at AAA. Even Spencer Geisting, not the ugliest numbers at AAA, but not what you might expect. Where it seems like a lot of our arms are kind of stalling. We might need a little bit more of a restock. Yes, I know we got some with the draft, but it never hurts to especially get what you can for a guy that is going to be a free agent after 2 months either way. But Brandon, I want to pass it on to you now. Same question as I asked Gabe and everybody else in the chat. One, what were your initial reactions to the trade? Anytime, especially around this time of the year, seeing a Jeff Passan tweet, I'm always going to my phone immediately and being like, oh, okay, what kind of bomb is Jeff going to be dropping? And then two, what are your reactions to the actual return the D-backs got for Josh Naylor in this deal?
So my initial reaction was I knew it was coming because of the sweep. And like I don't know why. After the Cardinals series, I'm like, I wasn't trying to get too hyped up because we've seen this so many times this year. They have one series where they look like they did against the Cardinals, where they looked really, really good. Everything was clicking. And then the next series, we saw like it's always 2 steps forward, 1 step back, or 2 steps forward, 2 steps back. So I was like, don't get my hopes up. I was at the game Monday and Tuesday.
Good seats, by the way, on Tuesday.
Oh, it's because I had 500 advantage points, so I was like, you know what? I'm going to sit really freaking close. I'm probably going to be doing that a couple more times this year because I have I think 10 games still left to go to, so I need to have at least have a good seat if I want to watch this team. But I don't know. I just I didn't think they were going to keep Naylor personally. After Tuesday, the Monday and Tuesday games were so deflating. Just gut-wrenching losses. Just destroyed me. But when my initial thoughts on the return was I don't know who these guys are. Let me go look them up. First thing I did, Baseball Savant. So I saw Garcia and I'm like, okay, I see some stuff there that this could be something. And then Ashton Izzy hasn't gone above AA, so there's nothing on Baseball Savant. So I had to go look up his minor league numbers, and that one I'm like, ooh. And then I was like, oh, he's 21. So I'm like, that felt like that was a throw-in player, really for the trade. Hazen really didn't want to do 1 for 1. He's like, all right, I need one more piece. So I think that's kind of what that was. Garcia, I think he's up within 2 weeks. Especially if we end up trading Shelby and Beeks. I think Garcia is in this bullpen. I don't want them to put him in high leverage right away.
Yeah.
But we may not have a choice. So, but I'm just glad that they're finally starting to realize, we need fireballers in this bullpen. No more of this pitch to contact, Ryan Thompson, Tommy Henry, Joe Mantiply, pitch to contact. So, I think everything could be all right. I don't know how the second half is going to go because I don't know what this roster is going to look like August 1st. Pavin's probably 7 to 10 days away. So that's going to be tough for, I think, Brett and Gabe to watch Pavin play first base day in and day out. I think it's going to, you guys going to, for me, I'm just it is what it is.
Great baseball season for me to be sober for and no longer drink. What a what a
right.
fun run here, D-backs. Thank you.
So, yeah, everyone's saying that Seattle fleeced us. The only way that we don't win this trade is if Seattle somehow wins the World Series. I just don't see that happening. Sorry, Seattle fans. I just don't see it happening. Or they have to re-sign Naylor. If either one of those two don't happen, I think we won this trade. Because Garcia is, I think, going to be helping this bullpen in some form either this year or even next year. Izzy, I'm just like that's just we'll just have to wait and see. Like he has some stuff there, but he's 21 years old, um, and like this organization starting pitching depth is just so bad that Hazen just needs to collect guys at this point. So, and I think this is the start of it. I think we're getting a lot of starting pitching with all these trades. I think we're getting a lot.
Yeah, saying who knows, maybe if they are okay with what they get from even like a Merrill Kelly trade. Again, all the guys that we are going to be trading are expiring, so it's not like we're getting like a. I know they're asking for a King's ransom for Gino. I don't think we're going to get Cam Schlittler or and Spencer Jones. I know Gabe has his doubts with Spencer Jones in the swing rate, but honestly, fuck it at this point. Give me a few more pitchers, go after Spencer Jones. I just want to see him. Just one Yankees Twitter would melt down. It'd be hilarious.
Oh my god, they would lose it if we got Spencer Jones.
And plus, like I think it would be fun to see again if he does get the swing and miss down a little bit. It'd be fun to see Spencer Jones kind of hit some fucking tanks. Go get our own lefty hitter that can aim for those. Aim for that red truck out there. But want to highlight some of the comments here and just shout out everybody that we have in our chats, obviously, because we always appreciate you guys tuning on in here, whether, again, you're on the YouTube side, on the Twitter side, leaving some comments over there. We got Super Pulls in here. As a lifelong DBacks fan, I'm furious we were selling. And I agree, too. Again, I don't think a lot
First of all, I'm just going to put this out there. This is Cruz, everybody. So take that what you will. He texted this to me, and I'm like, sir, not right now.
It's
not right now.
He's allowed to troll. That's what divisional rivals do. I don't blame him. I'd be if the Dodgers collapsed and they were selling too. We'd also be dancing on their grave. So fair is fair. Fernando saying, don't you all agree that Hayes and Torrey must be fired? We had such a great roster at the beginning of the season. Not necessarily. I wouldn't say like they deserve to be fired. I think next year will be the final season where we at least see whatever is going on. But it is definitely looking a little bit bleak for both of them, especially if this trade deadline doesn't turn out too well, kind of like what Gabe was saying in that one tweet earlier about the D-backs getting a total of 6.2 WAR in return for guys like Greinke, Goldie, Marte, and Eduardo Escobar. If it's another one of those where, especially with the potential return we can get for Gino, if you throw that in there for all these other 5 to 6 guys that we're trading, if we don't get at least some kind of good return, then I think it's like, okay, man, like, yes, we appreciate what you did, how you kind of built this roster, but like clearly you can't build a bullpen. It doesn't seem like you're able to kind of get much of a farm system built up anymore because like 2022, we had a top farm system, but all those guys either graduated or came up and fizzled out. Like Alec being one of our top prospects does not look like he was hyped up to be, which is unfortunate. But again, I don't know if they're necessarily going to be, necessarily be fired. Stu's asking, or obviously earlier Stu was saying restocking the farm, and I do think that's a big part about the deadline. At least we get a restocking, like Brandon said, just hoard some pitching. Justin saying, do you see the D-backs making any more moves? And I 100% do, especially with the reports that they're going to probably trade 5 to 6 more players. I could see, I don't know when it's going to happen, but I know that they will definitely, we will see an overhaul before the trade deadline. Kind of like Gabe said, this will turn into a AAA team. Taydad saying, speaking of lottery ticket minor leaguers, every single guy in the bullpen was in AAA this year. And you're punting, you're crying about punting, get out of here. But I mean, I think that's, again, not fully on Torrey, but that's in a sense Hazen just not giving them really anything good to work with. So I think
that was something that we talked about like a couple weeks into the season, saying like Puck is the only guy who has actual real major league experience. Everyone else was either on a minor league deal or a spring training invitee or whatever, non-roster invitee. Like that was a problem from the beginning of the year, and like people were talking about the injuries. This team was 12-9 before Puck got hurt. They're barely, even still, like they're close enough to that point. Like they're already 4 games behind the division, and they've just gotten worse and worse and worse. So it's not like you can say they were 15-7 or something like that before Puck got hurt, and you're like, yeah, that was the big difference. They're 3 games over 500. That's it. Like they basically stayed that way until like these last couple of series.
And even without even with the weaker names in the bullpen, there's still some decisions, kind of like we'll get to again in game 2 here, about leaving a hitter like Jose Herrera in with runners in scoring position instead of pinch hitting him for a catcher on the bench that is a much better hitter at least at this time. Decisions like that is where I can agree with Gabe of saying like, yeah, it's in a sense punting in a way where it's like we'll save the rant for that when we get there because I know a lot of us will be very spirited about it. Stu saying should try to trade or re-sign Miller. He's been very good the second time around, and honestly, it's not a bad idea, especially if we can't really get anybody else in the offseason. If we're not going to actually spend money on any relievers, don't necessarily hate it, but at the same time, like it could with the D-backs luck, they signed him to like a 2-year deal, and he just turns into, how Ryan Thompson is this year. He's like a 3.4 ERA, and it's like cool. I'm glad we gave him money, and then. Yeah, say Fernando. We're talking about the in that tweet, Eduardo Escobar, when we traded him a few years ago. The return we got really wasn't that great. But I think we're all in agreement here, all three of us, that Oscar, we can just mute you from the chat here. Trading Marte for Volpe while we're at it. I know you're trolling, but disgusting work. Yankee fan in secret, but I know you're just trolling. But yeah, say again, appreciate all you guys tuning on in here, giving us your thoughts and everything like that. But that was not how I expected Thursday night to start here. Like I said, I was expecting to get on here at 9, at least, chew over the series of a series sweep, not have to worry about being confirmed, because I was even telling the guys, you know what, I was going to try to twist this at the end of the show and be like, all right, guys, you know what, we're facing the Pirates, a series sweep of the Pirates, and the playoffs are so back on the menu, boys. Like, let's go. Let's have that blind copium. It's not happening. Derek Hall confirmed today that they're sellers. This trade today of Gino or of Naylor, and then plus the 5 to 6 guys that we're going to eventually be trading, definitely confirms we're sellers. But to kind of pivot on into the series that we're here to talk about that put them in this position is they came into this one at 500, swept the Cardinals. Things were looking good, like we talked about last episode. And we needed to see them at minimum win the series here against the Astros. A sweep would be the most ideal, but when we said sweep, we meant sweep them, not get swept. As game 1, D-backs lost 3-6. Gallen, 6 innings, 7 hits, 6 earned runs, 1 walk, 6 Ks, 2 home runs. Both of them were Bryce Matthews, one of the Astros' top prospects. Two of them, or the first one was his first Major League home run, so his first 2 Major League home runs. What is it about a fucking player doing that against here? A few years ago, it was Trevor Story against Greinke, now it's Bryce Matthews against Gallen. Good lord. Gallen's a 5.58 ERA in the season and a career-high 23 home runs allowed, and we are just past the break. My God, he might break 30, and he has a 6.42 ERA and a 1.5 whip over his last 7 starts, which is just 40 and 2/3 innings pitched. There was a little bit of bright spots here. Obviously, Gino hit his 36th home run of the season. Brian McCann, which again, a little bit more on him in a minute. He went 2 for 3. The bullpen was solid in this one. 3 shutty, but the offense can't dig out the hole that Gallen made. And then the team also didn't really do much to help Zach Gallen and the rest of the bullpen. They went 1 for 7 with runners in scoring position and 11 men left on base, which was kind of just a theme for this entire series here. The D-backs tried to get back on track and get back to 500 in game 2. Was a pretty solid pitcher's duel there. Framber Valdez and Eduardo Rodriguez were kind of matching each other blow for blow. Erod went 6 1/3, no runs, 6 hits, 3 walks, and 3 Ks. Got taken out after a ball deflected off him. I think he's probably okay. I think it was just more of a precautionary thing. Grichuk was really solid in this game. He went 3 for 3 with 2 doubles, so boosting his trade value a little bit. So that's at least a positive. Perdomo, I believe, in the 9 spot was looking really good as well, or at least down in the order again. He went 3 for 4. And then the big point here that I imagine a lot of us will be talking about is Jose Herrera was left in with runners on 2nd and 3rd. Doesn't do anything. Shocker. More on that later. John Woodford, again, I think it was a tweet from Strom's Lab. If John Woodford is pitching in a 1-run game in the 8th inning, are you really going to ever be buyers? Are you really going to be competitive? No, you're not. Pitched in the 8th inning with a 1-run lead, and then, of course, a 2-run shot to Bryce Matthews. He was just our absolute daddy this series. Gave the Astros a 2-1 lead. And then the D-backs get the bases loaded with no outs in the 9th, down 3-1. But Blaze Alexander struck out, and then Jose Herrera was yet again left in to hit with runners in scoring position and grounded into an inning-ending double play. So the D-backs confirmed, lost the series. Things were looking very bleak, but hey, you know what? I know my mindset and a lot of the mindset for probably a lot of fans was, you know what? Avoid the sweep. At least we can maybe go into Pittsburgh, win or sweep there, and we're right back to being buyers. Did his part. He went 5 2/3, 5 hits, 2 earned, 2 walks, 5 Ks. Cattell tried to get the offense going early. He hit a leadoff home run on the first pitch of the bottom half of the game for his 20th of the year, which is very impressive considering how much time he missed early on. Perdomo staying hot. He went 4 for 4 in the 9-hole. Walker did get his revenge finally, and a little bit more on Walker in a minute. He finally got his revenge. He broke a 3-3 tie in the 9th inning with an RBI single. The umpire definitely was paid by the MLB to make them. This is a joke. Okay, just got to clarify that. The umpire was paid by the MLB to make sure the D-backs become sellers, and he called ball 4 about 3 or 4 inches off the plate as a strike to end the game and rob the D-backs, which, again, with our chances, we would have just somehow loaded the bases and still not scored a single run. So again, 3 to 4 inches off the plate, gets called for strike 3. Game is over.
Yeah,
The D-backs
check his FanDuel account. I don't even think it was MLB. It's probably his FanDuel account.
check his FanDuel
He
account.
needed an extra strikeout.
I think he put like an extra 10 grand on the final out of the game being a called strike 3. So maybe go do some investigating like you did for Luis Ortiz on the Guardians guys. But then the more unfortunate thing here, obviously a lot of us kind of assume this, and we're hoping not, but this basically confirmed the end of Gino as a D-back. And there's a couple sad photos floating around on D-backs Reddit of Gino just hanging around the dugout after the loss, and then afterwards in the clubhouse was talked about the swirling trade rumors and basically said that he's not going to worry about them. He doesn't want to focus on them. He just wants to look forward to the next game on Friday, and said multiple times he doesn't want to be traded. So it's very sad because obviously we know how much he loves it here, but again, it's a business. The D-backs got to do what's best in the long run. So he's probably confirmed, to be gone. But moving on into our topics here, again, that series sweep, wanted to just get the details and everything out of the way because there really wasn't much that stood out other than the team just the entire time struggling with men in scoring position. The first topic here was a little bit of something that happened before the series. That kind of came out. Obviously, it was a homecoming for Walker. I think it was definitely planned on his part. He wore a Tony Perez Chica shirt, so I wouldn't be surprised if maybe there was a little bit of bad blood or a burned bridge or two. Maybe that was kind of
I mean,
jab at the D-backs.
he said that there isn't. He said there's.
I mean,
no
I know,
hard
but it was
feelings.
just funny wearing a Tony Perez Chica shirt back in Arizona, and he's what seems like to be the reason the D-backs were so good on defense for so long. But before the game, Boob Nightingale reported that Walker did say that it was, quote, an easy decision to sign with Houston, as Arizona never made an official offer to keep him in the desert. So my question to you, gentlemen, and everybody in the chat is, did you personally find it surprising that the D-backs didn't even try to offer him any type of contract to keep him in the desert? Because it doesn't even sound like they gave him really like a qualifying offer.
Honestly, I'm not surprised, only because it was something that I asked at the time when when Walker was going to the Astros, because it was 3 years, 60 million, or 60 million. I made the question at the time saying, like, did the D-backs even offer him anything? Because I felt like that was the bare minimum for Christian Walker. That was the number that we all had as the starting point. I don't think any of us had that as the actual end point. We all thought he would actually get closer to 370 or 380 or something like that. Some team would be willing to overpay for him because he has a 30 home run, 100 RBI, and a Gold Glover at first base. So he could get his money's worth. But when we all saw that number, we're like, was there even an actual offer being made here? Maybe 2 years, 40 million or something like that. We were all trying to rationalize, like, okay, it seemed a little weird that, he left for that. And, I think, like I said, at the time, we were all questioning if there was an offer being made, and now we get confirmation. I think I even mentioned at the time, like, I don't think we're ever even going to find out whether they made an offer or not, just because I didn't think Walker would actually come out and say that they did or didn't. And yeah, finally we got confirmation that no, they didn't even make an offer. The only offer that they got was the qualifying offer, which got us.
They did give him a
Patrick
qualifying
Forbes, yeah. So
offer.
like
It was,
they did give him a qualifying offer, but
it was that young guy that we got, Kaysen, whatever.
no, he was our first
Or-
pick. This Tay
okay,
in the
it was
comments
Forbes.
gave him a
Yeah,
qualifying
okay,
offer.
Forbes.
It was for Forbes.
Forbes, okay. I mean, pretty good pick, but yeah, it's just a little sad, I guess, that not even an offer, not even a formal offer, just kind of like, for old time's sake or anything. This team was just like ready to move on from him right away. So I know he says there's no bad blood, but I don't know. I would feel a little insulted that they didn't even make even a small offer, because the D-backs would have given him 2 years, 40 million. He can still go up to any other team and just be like, hey, this is what the D-backs are offering me. Can you match it? Can you do better? And they didn't even do him that sort of courtesy. And I mean, they're willing to let Paul Goldschmidt go away for Luke Weaver. So that just tells you what they think about their first baseman.
Hey, Luke Weaver and Carson Kelly. Okay, they're studs. But yes, I completely forgot that that's where they got
Andy Young.
And yeah, true.
Bullpen.
Andrew Young or Andy Young, really good player. But yeah, I honestly forgot that's where they got that comp pick. So at least they did offer him some kind of contract, but even like Gabe said, it's just the formal like, it's kind of like you've already quit your job or like you mentally already quit your job, but you're like, all right, I'm gonna go just ask Chat GPT to cook up a letter of resignation for me, because I'm just gonna mail it in. I don't give a shit, and it seemed like that's what they kind of did there, which. Again, I agree with Gabe. I would have at least liked to hear them be like, hey, you know what? We'll give you like a 2-year deal. And then he goes to Houston, gets a 3-year, to where at least they tried more than just doing the bare minimum of being like, hey, we're only offering you this contract because we want the compensation pick. Which, again, I get it, especially to start the year. There's a lot of talk like, oh, yeah, looks like the D-backs made the right call. And I totally get it. But again, it is a little bit rough just hearing that. It seems like, again, I know the bridge wasn't necessarily burnt, but just kind of hearing it seems like every time a fucking player that's loved here as a Diamondback leaves, there's always got to be some kind of negative thing, either about the fans or in a way about like how the whole situation was handled, to where it's like, can we just have like one, nice farewell here without having to be sad a little bit about something? But Brandon, same question to you, in regards to Christian Walker. Were you a little bit surprised to hear that the D-backs really didn't make an actual attempt to bring him back here to the desert?
So outside of them offering him the qualifying offer, I thought it was a little weird that they didn't at least try and do an additional offer. Again, I don't know if you can. I don't know if you can go back after you've given the qualifying offer, if you can do the actual offer. So that could be it. I can understand why they wouldn't. Look at his age, 34. Like giving him a 3-year deal till he's 37, 20 million. That's asking a lot. Like, do we really think that Walker would have been able to have multiple 30, 100 seasons? I don't know. Like, I know that what he did after Goldie left is like really hard to do, really hard to follow. Literally, probably this at the time the second most popular positional player in franchise history outside of Gonzo. At the time, now not so much. Now I think Marte is slightly creeping up. I still think it's back and forth between Goldie and Marte as to who's probably the second best there. Um, if you would have asked me this on Monday, I would have said this worked out great for them. Today, seeing as we no longer have Naylor, I don't know. I mean, Walker, like, he started, his first 60 games was not very good for Christian Walker. He's done better since, but I don't know. Like, I don't think this is that big of a deal that they didn't offer it to him. Like if Walker had been like all-star caliber, then I'd been like, oh my god, this was so stupid. But like, I don't think he's playing to the $20 million right now. So, but hindsight of what happened today, yeah, it doesn't look great that we don't have a first baseman of the future. We don't have a first baseman next year.
Unless Gino Groover really makes a big step forward, like he could slot in there. But even like a lot of people
That's
online were saying, like,
that's a massive if.
yeah,
That's
it's a massive if,
big
and a lot of
if.
people online were saying like, oh, we can just re-sign Gino, he can be our first baseman or DH. But Gino's been very vocal, saying he's like, I'm not going to be
Has
a DH.
Gino
I'm not
ever
going
played first base?
like a few innings here and there, but he's basically come out and said he's like, I don't want to play first base. I don't want to DH. He's pulling a Rafael Devers. He's like, my position is third base. Okay, I'm a third baseman.
And he's
Like,
okay. He's okay defensively.
Yeah, he just says I play third, just like Rafi. But yeah, I think I agree with you, Brandon. With you're saying that like before today, like it did seem like at the time the D-backs made the right decision. But even when they got Naylor, we knew he was a rental, and we questioned it even at the time. It's a 1-year deal. What are we going to do it after that? Like, who are we going to have as our first baseman of the future? So when he was signed, we kept talking about maybe he's going to sign an extension. Maybe they're going to offer him some sort of extension, 15 million or something for a couple years, just so we have a first baseman of the future. Because, like you said, as of right now, we have none. Who's going to be taking over? Pavin Smith? We're expecting
English.
Pavin Smith.
It's going to be Tristan English tomorrow.
English, like I said, a 25-year-old kind of rookie. is who we're going to rely on as the first baseman of the future. I mean, it worked out for Walker, but that's when we had Tony Perez Chica as our infield coach. Right now, our infield coach is Sean Larkin, I believe, and
Yep.
we are not very good at defensively in the infield compared to how we were with Perez Chica. So I don't know. I'm frustrated, and like you said, like unless one of these minor leaguers, one of these shortstops that we've drafted, if one of them makes a huge leap, then we do have a first baseman in the future. But as of right now, it just feels like we're kind of. I mean, truly, I mean, when you think about it, like what's next for this team? Like, I know they talk about retooling, and we're getting back all these guys, but what if we don't get a first baseman uh, in these trades? What if we don't get a third baseman? We have no one to cover these positions immediately or even in the future. We may put Lawler at third base if this team feels he's ready for everyday at bats at third base, but he's injured right now. So I don't know. Like I don't see anything happening here unless Hazen does another trade for a first baseman or they sign Pete Alonso or something.
That's what I was thinking. Is that they're
Yeah.
gonna have to sign someone this
Which
offseason.
the way Pete Alonso's playing, he's getting his Boris contract. Him and Bregman bet on themselves, and they are getting fucking paid, man. They're gonna get the Boris contract.
Alonso's gonna get some serious cash. Like,
It's not gonna be from us, but I do like Stu's comment here saying we can just sign Goldie for another year because it's either gonna be him, Ivan Melendez, Ivan Melendez has had a pretty decent year this year. Again, like maybe not where a lot of people expect, but he's hitting 251, 341 with a 484 slug and 825 OPS. In 65 games. I mean, he had a 923 OPS in 23. So it's not like a career high in the minors, but it seems like I don't have the peripherals in front of me, so I'm looking for his strikeouts. He has 64 this year, in 65 games, where he had 146 in 96 games in 2023. So it seems like he's definitely cutting down on the strikeouts a good amount, which is a great sign. So maybe like they'll give him a shout out of spring training, and if he shows he's ready enough, I feel like him. Lou James Groover. I gotta correct myself. Him, Lou James Groover, or maybe somebody else. Like I said, maybe sign Goldie. There's not many options there that we have, for who we can have fill in at first base. But who knows? Maybe we get like a major league ready first baseman in one of these trades, whether it's for Gino. Maybe whether it's for Kelly, Gallen, Grichuk, Miller, Beeks, whatever it is. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe two Gabe's hopeful improvement, not improvement like Gabe.
Merrills has a nice suggestion.
Gino for Ben Rice is going to be crazy though. I mean, isn't he like? That's not a terrible one, but I don't think the Yankees are going to give it Ben Rice though. I could see like I mean it'd be fun, but I do agree just bring back Goldie. It'd be fun, especially final year before he goes into retirement and then eventually goes in the Hall of Fame. Which, speaking of retirement, Nick Ahmed did retire today. So, shout out Nick Ahmed. Appreciate some of the years. I know there's a little bit of saltiness there at the end there where you didn't accept your ring because you're a little bit of a hurt little baby. But, still appreciate all the years that you gave us.
Ben Rice is 26 years old and he's batting .230. That's not a huge improvement from Tristan English or anyone else that we have in the minors.
Yeah, so might as well just.
But he has pop, though. He does have that pop, though.
15 home runs in Yankee Stadium. That's a lot of pop.
It's more than paving. It's more than paving.
It's more than this next guy that we'll talk about here that we get to, I guess, quote unquote cry about here. As in our next topic, obviously game 2, another one that kind of slipped away a little bit. The bullpen obviously giving up that 2-run shot by John Woodford didn't help. The offense itself didn't really do much here in game 2. Like I said, only 1 run wasn't much, but there's 2 situations that definitely stuck out to me as frustrating ones. One of them is Jose Herrera with runners on second and third, 1 out, left into pinch hit against a tired Framber Valdez, who's I think approaching 100 pitches. He's already not like the hardest throwing guy ever, but again, he was nearing the end of his outing where James McCann was available off the bench, even Adrian Del Castillo, which again, if I know one's more of a better defensive catcher, so maybe you don't want to take out one, but again, James McCann's been the better bat. Going up against a lefty, he at least can play catcher in a decent position. Wasn't used there. Jose Herrera didn't come through. DBacks don't score a single run there. But then, like I said, in the 9th inning, they got another chance. Obviously, Blaze himself, he had a chance, so he obviously didn't come through either. Striking out swinging, facing one of the toughest closers in the game. Josh Hader is very, very nasty. But then you would expect, like, oh yeah, maybe McCann was used to pinch hit for Jose Herrera. No, McCann was used to pinch hit for Alek Thomas. McCann did get a single and get on base there, but then obviously there's no other righty catchers off the bench. ADC was the only other catcher available to face Hader in the ninth inning. Does have a decent numbers against a lefty, but again, a really, really small sample size, and then even in the minors this year against lefties hasn't been doing as well. So I guess I don't necessarily hate the call to not go there. My chagrin is more of just the at bat in the seventh inning with runners on second and third. Like, if there's any time to pinch hit Jose Herrera, in my opinion, it was 100% that time right there, because again, Jose Herrera is not a good hitter, especially looking at at his numbers. So Jose Herrera has a career OPS of 52, which is 100 is league average. So he is 48 points below league average in the OPS plus category. And then with runners in scoring position this season, he's hitting 194, 279, 250 with a 529 OPS. And again, that's just with runners in scoring position this year. So yes, I know, like Tate was saying, like, oh, the point is to hit the ball hard, hit it at second base, maybe don't cry. But I don't necessarily, like, again, it's, yes, he finally made contact. But
A 100 mile per hour ground out to second base is still a 100 mile per hour out to second base usually, and it's a double play because later on, what's his face? Well, before I guess he did. McCann hit it to DeBon as well. What was it, DeBon?
Yeah, the second baseman. Yeah, he hit it to the ball. He couldn't corral it, so he got on base.
Yeah, so he got a single off of that. He hit it at 88. Like, it doesn't matter if it's 100 miles an hour or it's 88 miles an hour. Like, an out is still going to count as an out, and a single is still going to count as a single. So I know it was hit hard, but when you're hitting it straight to guys, it kind of just doesn't matter. You're still going to hit into a double play, and especially when you have a guy like ADC, who's, I know he hasn't faced any lefties this year, but he's hitting 444 with 1,000 OPS against lefties.
Exactly. And it's, yes, for all us Twitter managers, armchair managers, which it's kind of annoying that just because you don't have credentials, you can't criticize a team's decision. Like, I'm not saying we're perfect. I'm not saying that, like, we would do a better job, but it's still sometimes when you notice patterns, it's nice to go off numbers for a team that really goes off numbers.
And it's not like ours are like outrageous things. Like, it's not like what we bring up are legitimate things. Not like, because trust me, we see all sorts of just outlandish suggestions of what teams should do in certain situations online. Not just Twitter, Facebook, Reddit, Instagram. Like, I read some things like sell the team. I'm like, how does a new owner fix this current situation?
Yeah, there's definitely some overreactions, but again, like, also just because if you don't have to play ball to fully understand ball, or you don't have to play it at a high level to understand that maybe leaving Jose Herrera in with runners in scoring position 2 different times in this game wasn't the best call. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, you don't need to have, like, oh, I played baseball at a higher level, so, like, I know exactly what I'm talking about. I know coaches back in high school all the time that played fucking GCU. They're dog shit fucking coaches. So just because you play baseball at a certain level doesn't mean that you, like, know exactly what you're talking about.
Heard from a World Series champion, Mark Grace, after the game, criticized Torrey's move for keeping Jose Herrera in there. So if you don't want to hear from us, you can go look it up from Mark Grace, an actual guy who has, who's, I guess, borderline at times Hall of Famer. Like, this guy was amazing for the Cubs, and he was amazing for us, and he won the World Series for us. If you go criticize him for saying the exact same thing we're saying. So,
and it's not even just us too. It's not just us. It's not just former players. It's actual longtime writers for the DBacks, because I don't know if we have the actual clip of Torrey and his thoughts necessarily on, like, how he explained his thought process. But Jack Summers did have a tweet there that I'm going to read here of his everything, where Jack went on to say, "I don't feel like writing a whole article about the managerial decisions. I didn't have any issues with the bullpen decisions." Then he goes on to say, "But I didn't agree with Lovolo on lack of pinch hitting for Herrera. I always wait for the answer. This is the answer, or this answer didn't explain it well for me." So Jack's saying the question is, did you consider pinch hitting for Jose Herrera in the bottom of the 7th inning with 2 on and 1 out? D-backs had a 1-0 lead. Torrey went, quote, "No, I liked Herrera's at bat. He's got a solid, good quality at bat. I felt like that wasn't part of my game plan at that point in time in the game. I wanted to extend the lead. I was looking to really drive it up to a certain level. I felt like I was looking for a big inning, a big crooked number there. And then Jack goes on to note James McCann is batting 375 in a small sample size of 32 ABs, including 4 for 9 versus left-handing pitchers. McCann was used later to pinch hit in the ninth inning. Herrera is batting 190, but 256 on 11 for 43 versus left-handed pitchers. So again, it's not just former players who are World Series champions and played many, many years in the bigs. It's not just, us armchair managers, podcasters. It's also, writers that have been covering this team for many, many years that all disagree with the thought process and the decision there to, again, leave Jose Herrera in the big 2025 with runners in scoring position with borderline the season on the line. And to me, the thing that stuck out was I wanted to extend the lead. I was looking to really drive it up to a certain level, and extend the lead and drive it up to a certain level with Jose Herrera should not belong in the same sentence. I'm sorry. I would prefer 2023 Nick Ahmed with runners in scoring position over Jose Herrera at this point. And he just retired too. And again, I was very critical of Nick, and he was not the greatest hitter, but at least against lefties, he could at least hit well against lefties for the few things that he did. But I'm sorry. Herrera should not have been hitting in either of those situations. I don't care. And especially again, I get the little bit of the one in the ninth inning of, yes, a very tough lefty. But even if you wanted to save McCann for later, you could have pinch hit ADC against Fromber, who's a little bit more of a softer throwing lefty. Again, there was one out. Even if you get just a hard hit ball, what if ADC goes up there and hits a hard hit ball, 98-mile-an-hour ground out to second base in that situation? Guess what? The runner probably scores on that one. It's also tough to say because they did send the runner home, so who knows? But still, I would have been okay with pinch hitting ADC in the seventh and then saving McCann for the ninth inning or something like that. But just in general, Jose should not have been hitting in that situation. But I've been going on enough of a rant, so I want to pass it to you gentlemen here because again, I can go. I feel like I'm turning my. I don't have Paven to direct my anger towards, so I've been directing it to Jose. But I want to pass it on to you, gentlemen. What are your thoughts on just the whole situation? Obviously, I know it's been kind of stated. We are pretty much all in agreement, especially with not just Jack Summers, but also Mark Grayson. A lot of it seems like the fan base of the very questionable decisions on the lack of pinch hitting in certain scenarios that could have really turned the tide in the game.
Yeah, for me, I mean I know we've talked about it before. Just because you criticize a manager or criticize someone, doesn't mean you want them fired or you hate them or whatever. But at this game, it pushed me over the edge personally. I'm over Torrey. We've seen this happen over and over again. This isn't the first time he's done something like this. We've seen him do this over and over and over again for the last 9 years. And I've mentioned it before with actual players themselves saying, the back of the baseball card doesn't lie. Jose Herrera barely bats over 200 for his career. He's batting 190 this year. The back of his baseball card isn't lying, saying that he's not a major league caliber hitter. And having him out there twice with men on like this is just ridiculous. And I know Tay is saying that, they made 100 mile per hour. He hit the ball at 100 miles per hour with the bases loaded. Okay, well, still an out. And you know what else he did? An out early on when he hit it at 82 or whatever it was. It doesn't matter if he's hitting it hard or he's hitting it soft. He's still hitting it for outs. So I don't care how hard it is or what the expected batting average is. It's just you play the game that's on the field and you play what's in front of you. And ADC was available apparently, and McCann was available. If I didn't see McCann come out at that point, I probably would have questioned it. Okay, maybe unfortunately, maybe Herrera is kind of who's available. Maybe McCann could have been nursing something or whatever. So when he didn't come out for the seventh to face off against a tired Framber, I was very confused seeing Herrera come out to bat, and then of course he just hits it straight to Dubon, and then they get the out at home, and just because it was really soft, straight at him. So yeah, didn't do himself any favors. But like I said, he's been doing this whole season, putting Paven at third for the longest time, putting Gurriel right now at third. The guy has a 701 OPS, and he's hitting third still. It's just putting Perdomo. It's leaving him at the 9th spot over and over again. I think Perdomo has been good enough and has shown his ability to hit in the 2nd spot, in the 1st spot, even 4th or 5th. He needs to move up as well. We're going to be able to drive in runs. And this was just incredibly frustrating, especially when Blaze struck out, and I saw Herrera there, and I'm like, okay, so now they're going to bring in ADC. They're kind of just doing, mind games. And when he came up, literally, I was with like 6 or 7 of us, a group of friends. We're like, yeah, he's going to ground to a double play. And yeah, immediately grounds on to double play. So game's over, and that's kind of it. And then they become sellers right away. Like, it's just so incredibly frustrating to watch that happen over and over again. Like I said, it was twice. He had a chance to redeem himself, and he didn't. And what can you do? Like, he's not a major league caliber catcher. He can't throw guys out. He can't hold men on. He does call a good game, like I mentioned before. I do think he's going to make an excellent coach one day. But right now, as a major leaguer, he is not a guy who should be out there, 3 out of 6 days, the way they're using him right now. He should be out there 1 out of 6 days or something. But it's just, I don't understand. And then the explanation later on, just kind of the same Toryism nonsense. So, like, is that bad? He looks good out there, blah, blah, blah. How does a guy batting 190 look good? Unless this is the first week of the season. How does that guy actually look good? Like, there's nothing about his at-bats that have looked good. He looks completely lost out there. He just, when he puts it into play, it's always an out almost. Like, 190. He's batting 190. Compared to a guy who's hitting well over 300 right now. And I don't understand. I didn't understand giving him twice. And if anybody's defending it, then I don't know. Like, I don't know what to tell you. If everyone's saying the opposite and you're the only one saying, that he should have batted anyways and it's not his fault, then I don't know what to tell you.
Clearly, we all just don't know ball, apparently. But I mean, like, again, it's, yes, maybe at time there are times where Jose puts up a decent at bat, but I'm sorry, like, there's certain situations where I feel like, even like Gabe said, yeah, even if he's starting, maybe have a quicker trigger to know, like, okay, what, this situation, this team is literally like a win there gets them back to 500, still stays in the hunt to potentially be buyers. But that call right there, especially, and again, it's maybe not just that entire situation, because like you even said earlier, this entire series, the offense just underperformed. They did not hit well. They did not come up clutch in situations when they had the opportunities. The entire series, they did not do that well at all. So it does kind of fall on the whole team as well. But there are times, again, where that was, in my opinion, on the manager for not taking out a lackluster hitter for somebody who at least has been swinging well as of late. And yes, small sample sizes, everything like that, but the numbers really don't lie when it comes to, maybe who should have been hitting that scenario. And unfortunately, that basically is what has put us into this, official sellers mark that we are now, where who knows, maybe if you pinch it to McCann, he gets a clutch hit there, D-backs, hold on to win that game. Whether they win the next game or not, like, who knows? We don't know. It's like the butterfly effect, where just a small change here and there could change the entire outcome of not just the rest of the series, but the rest of the deadline, all that going forward. But again, at this point, it's, who knows? But Brandon, kind of same question to you. What are your whole thoughts on the? It is, I mean, like I said, it's a small sample size, but again, it's who has a hotter hand. Jose Herrera has a big enough sample size to show that he is not that good in certain scenarios, and that was definitely a scenario he should not have been hitting in. Brandon, kind of passing it on to you, what are your whole thoughts on the whole scenario, whether it's the 7th inning, a lack of pinch hit, whether it's the 9th inning with bases loaded? Just what are your whole thoughts on how the whole thing went down, especially with how, Mark Grace, Jack Summers, and us are all kind of on the same page of scratching our head a little bit at the decision making there in Game 2.
I think we need to stop trying to figure out why Tor does things, because they don't make sense. Like, we're in 9 seasons and it's the same things over and over. And when people ask him about it in the media, it's the same response. Like, the fact that he said that he liked Jose Herrera in that situation, like, he puts together quality at bats, but he still gets out. I don't care if he has a 6, 7, 8 pitch at bat. If you get out, it don't freaking matter for me. Like, I'm not so mad about the 7th inning one, because I'm like, 7th inning, like, maybe he's worried about not having enough guys to finish the game. But the 9th inning one, like, I was sitting there and I'm like, oh my God, he's going to let Jose Herrera hit here in the 9th inning? Like, oh, and another thing, the contact play drives me freaking nuts. Like, it drives me nuts because the thing with Alec on that one, he was out by a mile. Like, I'm sorry, you don't do the contact play at third base. You do not do There's one player on our team that you do the contact play with. That's Corbin Carroll. Nobody else. And you only do it if it's hit to the right side. If it's hit to that left side, you're going to be thrown out by a mile unless the guy just completely airmails it. So I was watching it, and then I was like, and there in the ninth inning, I'm like, he's going to let Jose Herrera hit here. This game's not going to end well because Jose Herrera doesn't lift the ball very much. It's a lot of ground balls and a lot of line drives. And I'm like, he's going to, like, I would have been fine if he struck out. Because then you have the top of the lineup right there, and then you have another shot. But no. Just, oh my God. Like, I don't like, and then I was thinking, wait, there's only like one guy left, ADC. And then I'm thinking, it's probably one of those things where Torres like, if we tie this game, I don't want ADC catching in extra innings. And I'm thinking, you have to make it there. It's like the same thing that we bring up all the time. Playing for extra innings or playing for the postseason. You have to get there for that to even be an issue. So for me, it's like, yeah, like he is a sub 200 hitter. Like, I don't get so mad at Herrera a lot like Brett does. Like Brett, like I'm like Toy is partially right. He does have decent at bats, but he still gets out. So it doesn't matter to me. Like, if he had good at bats and he was earning walks or something, like, it'd be fine. Or like, hey, he's still batting 190. Like, it doesn't matter. He's just like this. Like, I know a lot of the fan base wants him fired. I don't see Hazen doing it. The only way it happens is if Kendrick fires both of them. That's the only way Torrey is not the manager on this team. And they're not going to do it now. Like, they're selling. Like, what does firing Torrey right now do?
Doesn't do much. And again, I don't think any of us, we don't want Torrey fired. Like, I'm not in the camp of wanting Torrey fired. Like, I just, there just some times where it seems like over these 7, 8, 9 years, we've seen where you would hope maybe, oh yeah, maybe I'll have a better, call on this. Maybe I'll go to the pinch hitter in a better situation. But yes, I mean, like, I know Cruz is in here, but at least it seems like he's not trolling. He's being sincere here, saying you fire Torrey, you set DBacks further. I do agree. Like, again, I don't think it's time to fire Torrey at all. It just, there are some times where the decision making just doesn't make sense. It seems like he doesn't learn from certain scenarios. And I know even like Mother saying you don't know, you do know XPA is a huge metric looked at by front offices, and so is hard hit, and that's fair. And just taking a look at Jose Herrera's Savant page, again, very small sample sizes, only 100.
So that ground out did have a expected batting average of 510.
Yes, so, like, which is fair. But at the same time, just going over in that specific result, yes, maybe expected, but just looking at his numbers in its entirety, doesn't qualify enough to actually be anywhere there on, because again, he only has 170 plate appearances, but just looking at everything, pretty much bottom of the league in xWOBA, bottom in the league of expected batting average, bottom expected slugging, average exit velo of 83.6, barrel percentage at 0.9, hard hit percentage at 23.6, league average, like sweet spot percentage 30%, bat speed 66.9, squared up percentage, he's just around like, halfway in league average. He doesn't chase, he doesn't strike out, and he walks a decent amount. Yes, so like I do get the, he might have a nice at bat every now and then, but in a scenario when it's, we want to, put up a big number here, that's where I'm like, any of those numbers for Jose Herrera do not scream putting up any kind of big number. Like, they just, I don't know, man. Like, I don't want to sound like we're beating a dead horse here and whatnot, because, and again, like, I like Jose Herrera. I do agree with Gabe that I think he does have a very good baseball IQ. He seems like a good baseball mind because he does call a good game, and I think he'd be a good coach at some level. But I mean, again, Tay, I know it's a small sample size, but again, going off of the, who's been hitting well. I'd rather have the guy that at least has been seeing lefties decently well versus a guy that you might be lucky to get a walk, because like again I don't know, like it was just very baffling to see, and I'm glad at least that Jack
I mean,
Summers, Mark
if you
Grace.
want slightly bigger numbers, McCann has a 240 career hitter and Herrera has a 201 or 202. So you can use small sample size, you can use big sample size. One is clearly better than the other. As of right now, I know Herrera also, ADC also has, a small enough sample size, but still, what he's doing in the minors, what he's done when he's come up. I mean, the guy is hitting damn near 400 for his career in the big leagues.
Yeah, so it's both guys suck. That's not the point. Jose is not an everyday guy. Gabby's a starter. I mean, again, it's I don't think like you can say shitting on Jose is lazy, and like again, that's why I'm saying it's this. I'm not putting it on Jose necessarily like, oh, he's the most dog shit. This is on like Torrey should not have let him in that situation. He should not have been hitting like
He
because
got a second chance, but Torrey got a second chance to make a different decision, and he didn't. He doubled down with Herrera there in the ninth. And for me, I'm like, Torrey, you got a second chance. Like, I would rather have a guy with a smaller sample size or less numbers that has the potential to lift the ball. That's the thing with Herrera that drives me nuts. Is it's a lot of line drives, grounders, dribblers. Like, I'm like, you're like, that's not gonna work.
And again, sometimes about with baseball, just sometimes you got to play the hotter hand.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, if McCann, I know people say, like, oh, well, hindsight, or you would criticize him anyways. If you put McCann in the seventh, nobody would criticize McCann. That would be on McCann. McCann screwed up if he just grounded out to, like, in and out. And if ADC grounded out into a double play, that's on ADC because, he is the better option, better offensive player. And I know, like, we're not crapping on Herrera. Like, Herrera is who he is. As a manager, it's your job to use the best available guys. Why do you think Toronto is so good? Because they're using the best available guys day in and day out. Why do you think Detroit is so good? AJ Hinch uses the best available guys. He's not putting guys who are batting 150 and insist on using them over and over and over again in situations they shouldn't be in. Herrera, again, he should be a guy who's batting who's playing once a week. Like that's his role. That should be his role instead of playing damn near every day or playing half the games. It's just as a manager you have to know what you have. It's like poker. Like you got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them. Like you know what your cards are, and you just got to play them as well as you can. And in this case, he just hasn't been playing the cards that he's been dealt. Like I know there's been a lot of injuries, but you have guys who are available who are better, and he doesn't use them. So you can't do anything about that. Like Herrera, again, it's not his fault. I mean, he's being put into situations he shouldn't be in the first place.
Yes, and again, like it is. I do agree with Gabe. You could use a hindsight thing, but I still think that the scenario would have called for going with again the hotter hand, the guy that in theory I think would have given you the better chance of at least getting a lifted fly ball deep into the outfield because we don't even see like Herrera get too many like deep fly balls. Like he's not like a hard ball hitter. Like I think Brandon was saying, he's kind of more like a line drive. Yes, like a hard. Like when he hits it hard, it seems like he's hitting it kind of hard on the ground, straight at people. Or at least even a fly ball in that scenario would have most likely been a sac fly with Alec running and gotten a run. And again, a little bit of this blame is on the third base coach, which I hope this is the only season we have him as our third base coach because it's like countless times.
He's so insecure. Like I kind of feel bad for because he doesn't know what to do. Like he is too scared to have guys go, but he's like too scared to like not like Larkin is. There's no way this man is on this team after the season. Like if they. Sorry, like Larkin is just no.
Yeah, it's rough, but we can probably go on for hours about this whole thing because I know we were going off in our group chat and in the Discord a little while there for that. So again, if you guys have not already joined the Discord, join the Discord. It's pinned on our Twitter account. It's free. You don't think I pay a single cent, and you guys can go in there ask us questions, especially with the trades going on. Our prospect channel will be going off pretty much like consistently because you guys get a little more of a look into some of these guys that we're going to be getting, because that's the perfect segue into our third and final topic here about this series. So with this series being a sweep, and especially now today officially being confirmed by not only just trading away Naylor, but Derek Hall himself confirming the D-backs would be sellers. My question to you, gentlemen, everyone in the chat, is would a strong deadline selling-wise from Hazen and company give you hope for 2026 being a bounce-back season? Like maybe not 90-plus caliber win, but at least being, maybe like 2023 vibes of, hey, they could be a sneaky team playing with, no expectations. They're going to go out there play like the Diamondbacks way, like we saw in late 2022 and most of 2023. Or is it kind of already looking bleak considering the amount of like pitching injuries we have, kind of like what we talked about, the positional questions we have like with first base, and even some other guys like, yeah, even if we lose Gino, we need Lawler would need to step up, and we haven't seen that in 50 at bats so far in the major leagues. Do you think that you would have confidence with a strong deadline, or do you think that you're on the side of holding out hope and then, maybe thinking that 2027, if it happens and there's no lockout, could be the season where everything, with everybody being back and healthy, is where we finally, see this team make a return to the playoffs?
Yeah, I kind of have no hope for next year, like unless they make actual big league acquisitions, because it's not just that they're losing Naylor. Like we have no first baseman for next season, we have no third baseman for next season, especially if they get rid of Gino. We have no Merrill Kelly for next season. We have no Zach Gallen for next season. Gurriel can opt out of his contract for next season. We have no Shelby Miller, no AJ Puck, no Corbin Burns, no Justin Martinez, no Kendall Graveman. Who do we have? Like, well, what? We're just putting a team together with with popsicle sticks and bubble gum. Like, I don't know what they're going to be able to do. I mean, they would have to get, like I mentioned before, major league ready talent. Like that's what I want to see them do, especially with Gino. Apparently, there's 12 teams that have been asking about him. So take the guys who are major league ready, whether it's a first baseman, it's a third baseman, it's a starting pitcher, kind of do like a Jazz Chisholm for Zach Gallen type of trade, where you get a guy who's ready, who's good at the major league level, who knows good at the major league level. But this team, I feel, is going to look very different come August and coming
August
into
1st.
going into February next season. I don't know how I'm going to feel, because again, if they don't make any extra moves, and I don't know if Ken Kendrick's going to be willing to spend as much as he did this year, because if they don't make the playoffs, and whatever money they were going to make, or they're probably, I mean, they're going to make money. It's the way it works. TV deals, they're still going to get the money. It's not going to be making anywhere near the same money they did. Kind of have no real hope for this team. I would guess hope for a 500 season. Maybe hope they are a guy or two away from competing again, but I don't think that's the case.
Yeah, it sounds like some of the homies in the comments here are kind of agreeing with you. Stu saying not with the way pitching is, it's also going to get worse. Gallen, Kelly gone, potential Miller gone. There was at least some good news from Kelly. There was, I believe, an article that Jack did. He kind of sat down with him, interviewed him, and Merrill's not gonna he's a professional. He knows that if he gets traded, and like that's just the part of the business, he wouldn't be offended at all. There wouldn't be he wouldn't be salty about having to leave, especially because he's like, yeah, if I go to a playoff team or team that's going to the playoffs and get to push for World Series, that's every player's dream. But he was very open in that conversation about being like, yeah, like if everything's there, I would love to come back here, love playing in Arizona. Like I would be very open to returning here next year. So who knows, maybe that's a guy that maybe don't write Merrill completely off, and who knows, maybe even Gallen. Even if we do trade him, maybe the D-backs are on the team that are willing to give him at least
Christian Walker said the same thing. They're both about the same age.
Yeah, but I think Merrill Kelly has a little bit more ties to Arizona itself, to where I could see it being a little bit more of a reality. Even Charles is saying I would like to see the offseason moves are in conjunction with what happens at the trade deadline. Too many holes, especially on the pitching side. And I think we're all kind of like in the agreement there that Ryan Nelson and Brandon Pfaadt being our best two pitchers going forward. Like there's unless we see a big step up at the end of the season and going into spring from guys like Human Lin, Spencer Geisting, even if Yilbert can kind of get back to form, we're kind of banking on these guys to really, I would say, overperform their metrics. But again, that would kind of, be something that I don't think we're going to see happen, especially with my, regards to the question of, oh, maybe 2027 being the year, even Stu saying 2027 might not even happen because I know there's a potential impending lockout with, all the talks about like salary cap, salary floor. So who knows, we might get another shortened season or a delayed season, whatever it is. Hopefully not, because again, I just like baseball. But even Tay is saying, thinking about all the money that's coming off the books after this year, but the season is already over in 2026. Come on, which it's a very fair mindset to have. Again, looking at all the injuries, like I said, everybody that's going to be down, the holes that we need to fill. But like I've said in previous podcasts, I feel like this team does play so much better when there are no expectations. And like we saw at the end of 22 and even for most of 2023, so when there's no expectations, that's when, that's when chaos ensues. That's when you see some of these younger guys kind of make an impact, make a little bit more of a name for themselves, really step up and contribute to this team in ways that I don't think that we would have seen. But Brandon, passing it along to you here, would a strong deadline here, obviously we've seen one trade already come to fruition, getting a little bit more bullpen piece, and then a pitcher that does need a little bit of work but could potentially slot in, middle of the rotation in a few years. Would a strong deadline from Mike Hazen probably being one of the first buying or first strong selling deadlines, I think, in his career, if it does turn out to be a good one, does it give you hope in 2026 being a bounce back season? Or do you kind of think that it's also going to be one of those where it's looking a little bit bleak for 2026 and we're not even at the end of 2025?
Depends on what he gets for Gino. For me, that's what it all hinges on. If he can get some serious players that can help this team in 26, then I'll feel great. But if he misses on this and he doesn't, because I know there's been a lot of reports that his asking price for Gino is very, very high, as it should be. Guy's literally hit like 50 homers in the span of 365 days. Like, his asking price should be high. There's a lot of like Yankee fans, Yankee Twitters, like, you guys aren't getting anything for a rental. And then I'm thinking, well, then you're not getting a middle of the order bat. So just kind of like, and I think that's what Hazen's thought process is. It's like, I don't have to trade Gino. Like, if you don't give me something that's of value, I'll just sit on. And like, could they sign him to an extension if they don't trade him? Absolutely. So this is going to be a very interesting 7 days to see what he does. Like, I unfortunately, I don't have a lot of faith in him because his history of selling is so bad. Like, he's missed on every opportunity. Like, we brought it up. Like, what he got for Goldie, nothing. What he got for Greinke, nothing. Eduardo Escobar, I felt was like there wasn't a lot to get in that one. So like, I don't think he was worth a lot at that trade deadline. So
He was
like,
on the
that one, I'm
same,
not
2-month rental as like Naylor is, so that I agree. It's not surprising.
like that one, but yeah, I don't know what to expect. Like, seeing that lineup on August 1st, I don't know what to expect, because if he really does trade the remaining of Gino, Gallen, Kelly, Beeks, Miller,
Grichuk.
potentially Grichuk, we're going to have these two guys as starters, Desclafante and Jarvis. I don't know how I feel about that for 60 games. I mean, it's not going to matter because we're going to, I mean, like, this roster is not going to compete. Like, that's really what it is. Like,
Could be spoilers. Make the Padres' life hell, make them miss the playoffs.
That's all that this team can do, is be a pain in the tuchus for the Reds, the Cardinals, the Mets, the Brewers, the Cubs, the Padres, like, all these teams. Just be like, don't let them think that we have the Diamondbacks on the schedule, there's an easy sweep, like we do with the Rockies and the Marlins. Marlins are actually Marlins bullpen's actually pretty good.
Yeah,
like, it's actually
Marlins
like,
low-key have a really solid that Kyle Stowers trade is looking like,
oh my god,
the fleece of the fucking decade so far. My god.
yeah. So like, really, really, really great. So like, I just want him to, like, I'm not, like, what he gets for Gallen, I really don't care, because I truly think he won't be able to do Gallen by himself. He's going to have to link Gallen with either Kelly or Gino, to because what is he gonna do? Sell him for a high A guy? At that point, just keep him.
Yeah.
Because I don't think they can submit a qualifying offer if they trade him.
No.
So
I think that they end the season on your squad for you to give them a
correct.
qualifying offer.
Yeah, which is kind of what I thought there. So I just again, you don't have to get a generational haul for Gino, but I want you to get a couple of guys that can help this team next year. If they don't help us this year, like that's fine. But I want guys that's going to help this team in 26, 27, 28. If you're going to trade Gino, you have to. You have to get guys that are going to help this team.
Yeah, so I know I kind of brought it up, but I think the most ideal situation would be similar to what the Marlins did for Kyle Stowers. I believe they traded away one of the Rogers. I don't know if it's one of the Rogers twins.
No.
It was a different.
Completely
Completely
separate.
The names always mix up because I'm like, there's just too many guys with the similar names. But like that trade alone, like again, I know that was kind of like a one-off. That doesn't really happen a lot in baseball, especially when it's like a lose or like a massive fleece. But that's the kind of return we would need is a major league ready guy who will make an impact on the squad. Whether he's going to put up the numbers that Stowers are putting up, obviously that's like Gabe or Brandon has said, Gabe has said, we haven't seen that kind of potential in return. Yeah, that's right. Trevor Rogers, the lefty starter. Thank you, Charles. We haven't seen that kind of return be something that Hazen is good at, but who knows? Maybe this is the year they shock us. Maybe this could be the year where they finally do something like that, and get a guy that is going to be an impact, whether it's an impact starting pitching arm or an impact name. Like an impact bat. Like I know the Mariners are still in talks to go after Gino. And I don't know if he'd necessarily be ready, but Quijinte would be a fun name just because I like a switch pitcher. That'd be cool. There's a lot of other names, like maybe he's another year or two away, but there are, I feel like are some good names that they could go after. It's just if those other teams are willing to give them up for, again, a 2-month rental. But even like Brandon said, you're not just getting any old regular 2-month rental, a guy that's, because even Josh Naylor, again, he's a pretty solid hitter, but Josh Naylor 2-month rental price versus a Gino Suarez 2-month rental price, different. They're not even close to the same. Like there's a reason why 12 teams are calling.
Gino will be the first player with over 35 homers to be traded by the deadline.
Exactly. Like there's going to be a lot.
That's not a normal rental. That is not a normal rental. So the asking price, yes, it's gonna be different than like what they had for Naylor, because whoever gets Gino, you automatically have a top tier cleanup guy.
Yeah,
automatically.
And he'll actually be hitting probably in the 3 or 4 hole and not slotted down in the 5 or 6 hole like we do pretty much every single game here. But unless, I don't know if you gentlemen have any other final thoughts. I know we were kind of going on that series for a while there. Any final thoughts from this series sweep at the hand of the Astros that basically put the final nail in the coffin, put us down in the ground, and then threw the dirt on top and officially buried us?
Okay, just hopefully they're able to, like you said, just some major league ready talent, some guys we can be excited over. But I guess it would be exciting at least to see Gino go to a contender, because if he goes to Toronto, Chicago, or New York, they suddenly become top favorites for like a World Series contention. I think that's kind of mostly what a lot of these teams need. They kind of just need a power bat from that third base position, and Gino can do that. So hopefully, he's able to get out there and actually win something for a team. Like, it is going to be exciting to actually have people to root for in the World Series. I'm excited to have all of October off, basically, because I'm not going to be here for like 3 weeks in October. So at least I won't be watching games at 3 a.m. like I did last year.
Yeah, so that got to be rough at times. Cruz, we will definitely not be trading anybody within the division. At least I hope they do, unless somebody makes.
No, for one person, you want to give us Shohei Ohtani, you can have Gino.
Hey, they can give us a. Who was that dude in the Futures game? DePaula?
De La Paula? Something like
DePaula.
that?
You can give us him if you want, Cruz. But with our luck, it turned out to be like, trading away Miguel Vargas, where it's like, oh, top guy in the Dodgers system, turns out to be nothing. But yes, I don't see Gino going to a divisional rival. But who knows? I've been shocked before. I don't think, especially if they give him an enticing enough package. Pause. That's what she said. Who knows? Maybe we see something kind of cool. But Brandon, kind of passing it on to you. Any other final thoughts here on the Astro series before we flush it and move on and look forward to or look ahead to our next series?
Bryce Matthews, I freaking hate you. Jesus Christ. He single-handedly beat us this series. He had what, 7 RBI in the first 2 games. Like, he was just on a tear. Like, congrats to the kid for having his coming out party, but I'm like, did you have to do it against us? Like, did you have to? Cuz if oh my god, if he doesn't go off, I'm pretty sure we win the series. Because we win Monday for sure, and potentially Tuesday. So, yeah, no, like Bryce Matthews, like what in the actual hell?
Yeah, I mean, he was one of their top prospects for a reason. Even like Gabe said, they're just so injured they needed to call up somebody. But of course, the dude hit in like 200, had to get his first 2 home runs, and they were really fucking. Yeah, Matthews had no chill, is what Disruptive was saying, and they weren't cheapies. They were some pretty fucking
The
pretty
first
big.
one was like what his second one was like 15 rows deep.
Yeah, so even like Charles Elliott is saying is watching him become a boogeyman against us like Trevor Story was. I was literally I remember going to opening day 2016. It was with my best friend or two of my best friends. Literally got my brand new DBacks, Goldie away jersey, the one that had those like gradients on the shoulders. I had my jersey. That was when they actually had buffalo chicken fries, which hey, the filthy mac fries are good, hot honey fries are good. Bring back the fucking buffalo chicken fries, DBacks. All right, you want to keep me going to every single home game? Bring me back the goddamn chicken fries, or buffalo chicken fries, or goddamn Panda Express, and I'll be there for every single game. But I remember going there and being like, yeah, we got Zach Greinke, like that's a future Hall of Fame pitcher there. It's gonna be a great season. And then Trevor Story, a rookie, just absolutely fucking throats Zach Greinke with 2 home runs against him, and we just get absolutely railed there in that season, which is fun memory from with being with my my best friends, but not the funnest memory for knowing that 2016 season got off to a great start, and that was kind of the start of, or maybe not the start because Russ Ortiz was the start, but continuation of wow, we can't ever have anything good with the free agent starting pitcher, but. Like I said, flushing it and moving on into our next series, we do head over into the Steel City to play the Pittsburgh Pirates. Game 1 is going to be Ryan Nelson, 6.2 with a 3.52 ERA, going up against Mike Burrows. We did see him earlier this year, I believe, in some long relief for the Pirates there in the series that chased earlier this year. He is 1-3 with a 4.70 ERA in the season, so not terrible, but he's not pitching like Framber Valdez, thankfully. Game 2, we got the mainstay. Who knows if he even makes the start or if this is his last start as a Diamondback. Either way, I'm going to be tuning in to enjoy it. 9-5 on the season with a 3.32 ERA going up against Andrew Heaney, which we kind of touched him up the last time we faced him. Heaney's 4-9 on the season with a 5.03 ERA. And then Zach Gallen, this next series or this last game and last matchup is literally the hydrogen bomb versus coughing baby come to life in a starting pitchup matchup. It's Zach Gallen 7-11, 5.58 ERA versus Paul Skeens, who's 5-8 but with a 1.91 ERA. My God, I can't handle him being a Dodger or Yankee in 3 years. I'm already mentally preparing for it. But yeah, those are the starting pitchers that we have lined up. Like I said, Game 3 is if I was a betting man, call me Shohei Ohtani because I'm putting the house down on. I don't know, because I would say Skeens, but the Pirates always give him no run support, and it seems like they blow a lead every time for him. But either way, it'll be hopefully a fun series to watch. Watch us go on some kind of Tigers run, and we just start winning games left and right out of nowhere. But Gabe, starting off with you here, looking at the series matchup in pitching, or like the projected starting pitchers. Sorry, words are hard today. The projected starting pitchers and all that. What are maybe some predictions you have? What are you going to be looking out for? Like I mentioned, for me personally, Merrill Kelly, potential last start as a Diamondback. That's what I'm going to be looking out for. So predictions, what are you going to be keeping an eye on for? And then maybe like a name or two that you think is going to go off the series.
I can't even make any predictions because we don't even know who's going to be on the team this series. So I don't know. In terms of predictions, I mean, I still think the D-backs are probably going to take at least 2 of these games. And Paul Skeens is just going to show it up their ass. But yeah, I did pick Wheeler as a Cy Young, so the D-backs can get to Skeens. That's at least for my agenda, that's going to help me a lot. So I guess it's just that I'm going to look at Skeens. That's what I'm going to do for this whole series. I'm going to be paying attention to him.
God, how funny would it be if Jose Herrera took Paul Skeens' yard?
Oh my god.
Oh man, I know Tay would come back in here and be like, "See, I fucking told you." Brandon passing. Honestly, I think that's a good point with Skeens there. That'll be a fun matchup. But the fact that he's fucking 5-8 on the
5-8.
season, and a career ERA under 2 and 43 starts, man. Like, I'm also gonna be watching him because he's just so fun to watch. I'm a slut for good pitching. He is a great pitcher. Very good reason why he's probably the best number 1 overall pitcher or best drafted pitcher since we've seen Strasburg get taken and make his impact on the major league level as fast as he did, because he is such a blast to watch. But Brandon, what are you going to be looking out for in the series? Maybe some predictions, and then maybe like a name or two that you think is going to potentially be going off here.
So I guess lukewarm prediction. Nelly's just gonna continue to shove. Nelly's gonna have a spectacular last 2 months of the season. Like, I could see Nelly finishing the year with 10 to 12 wins. Like, I really think he's gonna go on a really good run. He's looked really good since they brought him up. Unfortunately, due to the Burns injury. My other hot take: Gallen's gonna beat Skeens. Gallen, because he knows he's gone, so he's gonna try and up his trade value. He's gonna give up 1 run. Skeens is gonna lose again because his offense just doesn't help him. He couldn't even get run support in the All-Star game. So, like,
he got the
that's
run support, but the bullpen just blew it.
I mean, offense didn't do anything outside the first inning. Like, if they would have, like...
How dare you? How dare you? Shame on you. Shame on you, sir.
2 runs. 2 runs. I mean, that's more than he gets most of the time. So, I don't even, like, I keep going back and forth. I'm like, do I want this team to win games now? Or will that just infuriate me more knowing that we're losing all these guys? Because the Padres lost today. They actually gained ground on the wild card. I mean, they lost ground on the Cardinals, but they gained ground on the Padres. Like, playoffs aren't, like, over. Like, they could technically do it, but, like, I know we bring up the Tigers all the time, but it's our bullpen. Like, the amount of blown leads after the 7th inning, that's the one that drives me nuts. Like, you take, I don't know, like 4 of those games, and Naylor's still on this team.
Our bullpen blows so bad that they can make a fucking OnlyFans. Good lord.
Yeah, like it's like, that's why I'm like they need Garcia to be something. They need to, because literally like half of this bullpen, more like probably 4/5 of this bullpen are AAA guys. AAA guys that should not be there. What, Woodford, Richards, probably say Ginkel too. Like, the only reason Ginkel's up here is because they don't have anybody else. So it's gonna be an interesting last 2 months. Because I know the players are gonna try. I know Marte's gonna give his all. Carroll's gonna give his all. Jerry had like 7 hits in 2 games in the last 2 games. So we know Jerry's gonna try. Like, these guys are going to still try, even though a lot of the guys in the clubhouse will be gone. So, like, looking at this bullpen, the only one that would... Okay, there's 2 guys that should be there. Backus and Sulfrink. Everybody else in that bullpen wouldn't be here. Curtis wouldn't be here. Graveman wouldn't be here. Richards and Woodford. That's just my opinion.
It is rough because, again, there are a lot of caveats, a lot of what ifs. Where, like, if I had Doctor Strange's powers, I would go into whatever universe it is where we won in 2023 and started to go on a dynasty run, just so I could feel some kind of, happiness as an Arizona sports fan. I mean, I feel a little bit of happiness as a...
I wouldn't pitch to Seager. That's what I would friggin' do.
Feel a little bit of happiness. Thank God, at least the football team that I'm an owner for does something good for me every now and then. I'm sorry, I had to bring that up. But yes, I would have gone into whatever timeline is where we don't pitch. 'Cause, dude, I genuinely, I'd say, I don't know about you guys, like once a month, I just constantly think back to, I'm like, game 1. If we just take game 1, man, we could potentially go up 2-0 coming back home. It's an entirely different.
I mean, also don't throw a bullpen game in the World Series.
That's too.
Especially when Ryan Nelson went like 6 innings with like 1 run or something like that. But they had to spoil it with freaking Joe Mantiply and whoever else, and he scored like
I
10
think it was
runs.
Castro. I think it was
Yeah.
Castro. Yeah.
I mean, he had
Oh
Ryan
man,
Nelson there. Yeah, great job. Kind of reminded me of the 2017 when they put in Taiwan Walker over Patrick Corbin, who had like a 2.18 ERA in the second half of the season. Didn't pitch him at all, so I think that's why they lost. And that's frustrating thing about those runs. Like Torrey does a lot of good moves, and at least in 23, because 2017, I don't think he did a lot of good moves in that one. But yeah, it's a lot of what ifs, unfortunately, as Arizona sports fans, and with the Suns too. It's like, what if Dario didn't do like a weird pro hop and tear his ACL, and we lose the.
Or what if Giannis didn't decide to play football in the
What
NBA
if they decide,
Finals?
yeah, what if they decide to actually call fouls on Giannis,
Oh
and what if he shot his career average instead of shooting like 95% from the free throw line like he did, and what if
what if
what's his
Holmes?
face?
What if they didn't
Uh,
let James Harrison get a fucking 99-yard pick six? I know I'm not a Cardinals fan, but I still rooted for the
yeah,
Cardinals in
with
that
the
Super Bowl.
Steelers, yeah, it's all
Or what
pain.
if Big Ben threw that ball 3 inches higher? Freaking Holmes doesn't catch that ball.
Yeah, man, we could like I'm still genuinely convinced that they made a deal with Satan, or they sacrificed and did some kind of ritual in 2001 to get the championship, and they're like just give us one and we'll never complain again. They're looking back and they said, you said never. I gave you your one. You said you're never complaining again. Don't want to hear it. But yeah, hopefully, who knows? Like Brandon said, talk about the Tigers a bunch. The D-backs bullpen is not, and this team is not what the Tigers was in 2024. But who knows? We've seen crazier things. Maybe they do go on a run. Maybe
I
this
mean,
this no
look at
expectation team.
2019. Look at what they did in 2019. They sold, and they were 3 games behind on the wild card until they kind of just collapsed at the last couple of weeks. So
Yeah, who
it
knows?
can
Maybe
happen.
maybe they do go on a, and again, like I said earlier, maybe the pressure, because I know even in some of the articles about like the players are like, yeah, we don't really like feel the pressure, like, oh, if we don't win the season's over. But who knows? Maybe now that they're confirmed sellers, maybe they're just like, you know what, let's go out there and just play hard baseball, play the Diamondback baseball, and let's go out there and just with the pressure off. Maybe we see them go on a crazy run and put themselves into a scenario where, yeah, probably past the deadline they can't buy, but at least they make the end of the season fun, and it would be kind of fun that we're sitting in here final day of the season and the D-backs go on such a crazy run that maybe we're the team that makes some team like the Mets or the Reds or the Padres miss out on the playoffs by one, and we sneak in there as a final wild card spot. Again, don't necessarily see that happening. Crazier things have happened in sports, especially baseball alone. So who knows? Maybe we just gotta keep that blind copium going forward, because it's a long season. If we just give up hope now, there's really not much sense into watching this team, and you guys would be tuning into just the most depressing podcast possible. So that's not what we want to do here, and we want to keep it as light as we can and as fun as we can. But we do appreciate you guys tuning on in here. Again, this was a little bit more of a longer show, but I know the news earlier today about the trade for Naylor kind of like added to that. But again, appreciate every single one of you guys for tuning on in, whether you're a D-backs fan or our local Dodgers troll crews. Always appreciate seeing you in here as well. If you guys could like, comment, subscribe on the YouTube video, it does help out a lot. Make sure you guys follow us on every social media platform: Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, especially while you're over on Twitter. If you've not already joined the Discord, join the Discord. It'll be popping, especially in the prospect channel. Once we get some of these trades going down, to get a little bit more of information on like, oh, hey, were we fleeced, were we not fleeced, what return are we getting? So again, join the Discord, and also make sure you guys go on over to the azsnakebit.com website. Tons of great articles, especially if you want a little bit more information on Josh Naylor. They do have an article about that trade, and there probably will be some about just rumors, trades, everything like that, especially once it happens. So the Snake Pit is your best go-to source for all your D-backs content. You guys don't want to miss it, or you guys don't want to miss out on some great writers and some great stuff that they produce over there. So again, azsnakepit.com is the go-to. Appreciate every single one of you guys for hanging out here on Thursday night. I know it's late. Going into your Fridays, I hope you guys have a great rest of your week, a great weekend. Maybe we'll get to be here. Who knows? Maybe we're talking about a sweep. I just want to talk about some fun D-backs baseball. Hopefully we get to see that over this weekend. But in the meantime, you guys have a great rest of your week. The three of us will see you guys hopefully on Sunday. Take it easy.
Under the lights, the game goes down. Tears a heap in the back, bringing it on.